How you doing, gamers? This is John with Gamester81.com. This episode I'm going to review one of my favorite accessories for the NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, and that is R.O.B the robot. Before I dive in and show you some gameplay and explain to you how he actually operates with the NES, let me talk about a little bit about the history of Nintendo and how it came to be in North America. And Famicom was released by Nintendo in 1983 in Japan. It did very well. By 1985, they had sold over 2.5 million systems in Japan, and it was a big moneymaker for Nintendo. But they hadn't really they wanted to enter the North American market. They saw big potential there. Problem was, in 1983, there was a video game crash. And a lot of the video game crashes contributed to a lot of poor games, a lot of shovelware going to the consoles, the Atari, ColecoVision. The consumers got burnt out, and they stopped buying games. And a lot of the companies like ColecoVision, Television, all those companies actually went under. So it was kind of an odd time. It was kind of a dark time for video games, so to speak. So what Nintendo wanted to do is they saw that Atari had a strong history with distributing the Atari 2600, the 5200, and all their consoles, and they had a good network already in place. So what they wanted to do was team up with Atari to release the Famicom, or rebrand the Famicom, so to speak, with Atari and under the Atari name, and call it the Nintendo Advanced Video Gaming System. Unfortunately, in 1983, this was during 1983, the Consumer Electronics Show, Coleco was demoing their brand new Atom computer, and they were actually, one of the games they were demoing was Donkey Kong, which was by Nintendo. And at the time, Atari had exclusive home console rights to Donkey Kong. Atari had seen this, was very, very upset. In fact, that kind of really upset Atari so much so that the deal with Nintendo never fell through. I don't think it really ended up mattering anyway, because the president for Atari the next month actually ended up getting fired. So who's to say if that was actually the piece of it? But it would have been interesting if Nintendo was branded as Atari. I'm sure Atari looks back on that today and regrets that. So Nintendo was still motivated, and they wanted to still release their brand new Nintendo system in North America. And what they did was they rebranded the Famicom, which stands for Family Computer, and they rebranded it as the Nintendo Entertainment System. They changed the look. Instead of calling it a gaming system, they called it a console deck. Instead of calling video games, they called them game packs. And it was kind of, R.O.B the robot, so to speak, actually is kind of a Trojan horse, because they wanted to use it as a novel entertainment system, so to speak. Rather than just a gaming machine, it was an entertainment system. So what this deluxe set includes R.O.B the robot. And in case you guys didn't know, R.O.B actually stands for Robotic Operating Buddy. And so it comes with R.O.B the robot, comes with the Zapper, also comes with 2 games. It comes with Duck Hunt and Gyromite. There was only 2 games available for R.O.B the robot. There was Stack Up, which is sold separately, and Gyromite. Those were the only 2 games available for R.O.B the robot. So it was very short-lived. It was bundled, so there's quite a few that were available when it first came out. And Nintendo initially announced at the Consumer Electronics Show 1985 that they were going to release the Nintendo Entertainment System. They first released it in New York as a test market, and they saw it did very well. Eventually it reached other parts of North America, and here we are looking back on Nintendo as one of the very best systems of all time. It was a huge catalyst to really bring a lot more excitement back to video games. I would say, it's probably safe to say that the gaming industry would not be where it is without the success of the Nintendo Entertainment System. The initial bundle, when this came out, retailed for $199 US, or about $200. In today's, with inflation, that's about $432 US. So really, compared to what consoles are selling for today, it's pretty equivalent to what consoles are selling for today. The other bundle available was called the console deck, and that just came with the console itself and 2 controllers that retailed for $89.99. You could also get it with Super Mario Brothers bundled in, and that was $10 more for $99.99. Later on in 1988, I remember picking up Nintendo. In fact, this is the original box of my first Nintendo I picked up. This is the action set, and this one actually came with the Zapper, which at this time they actually rebranded it as orange, because the original Zapper is gray. I guess Nintendo felt that looked too much like a real gun. But it came with that, and it came with a dual pack. It came with Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, and 2 controllers. And this retailed for $149.99 when it first came out. A couple other bundles and sets that came out by Nintendo were in 1989, a year later after the action set came out, they called it the Power Set, and they basically threw in a cartridge with 3 games in one. It was Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, and Stadium Events. No, I'm just joking. It wasn't Stadium Events, of course. That'd be sweet if it was, but it wasn't. But it was a world-class track meet. and it came with a power pad as well. There's also a sports bundle and some other bundles that came out initially for Nintendo, but this by far was one of the first bundles that came out for Nintendo, and one of my favorites. So without any further ado, let's open this up. Let me show you what's included in the set. After that, we're going to do some gameplay of Gyromite. You can kind of see what it looks like. One thing I want to mention about Rob the Robot, and this is true with the Zapper as well, the NES Zapper, is if you need a CRT TV to play and use these things to work. Basically, it works off the lights that bounce off, use the lights that bounce off Rob and the Zapper, and it will not work if you have high-def television today. So you need an old CRT TV in order to operate both Rob the Robot and the light gun, the Zapper. So guys, here is an unboxing. I'd say this thing's pretty heavy. I'd say it's probably close to 7 pounds or more. You got a picture of Rob the Robot. He actually reminds me of the robot in the movie Short Circuit. I think his name was Johnny Five, I might be wrong, but reminds me of the guy from Short Circuit. Also reminds me of Wall-E from the Disney movie, came out years back. But you got the Nintendo logo here in silver, and it shows you everything that's included. On this side, you also have Rob the Robot. And on the top, you have a nice little handle here so you can carry it to go. The official Nintendo seal of quality, because Nintendo was very concerned about what games were coming out. They're very particular about games coming out for their system, and they wanted to avoid any shovelware like the Atari had, which caused kind of the crash of 1983, the video game crash. On the back, got a nice picture here of a family playing Nintendo. You got the mother, father, and 2 sons there playing. They're all happy, pretty excited. Shows you what's included in the set. And this is the retail sticker here still from this actual bundle. And let's open this bad boy up. So I took off the sleeve, and this is all you get. You get a nice styrofoam box. No, I'm just playing. Let's open this up. Take off the lid. You get the console deck here. Many of us are familiar with what the NES looks like. This is a Model 1. There was a top loader as well. It came out in the early 90s. You get both games, Gyromite and Duck Hunt, which is nice because I like the fact that it comes with the box, manuals, and everything else, rather than just the game packs themselves. In case you guys are wondering, Rob was sold separately without this bundle. That's a lot more rare, harder to find. And Gyromite, I believe, was sold separately as well with that bundle. So let's take this. Here's a Zapper right here. Nintendo Zapper. Again, you need a CRT TV in order for this to work. These do not work on HD TVs because it bounces off light, and that's how it operates. AC adapter, always very important, obviously, to have an AC adapter. Make sure you don't plug in the wrong AC adapter with the wrong voltage, otherwise you will fry your Nintendo or any other system that you have. RF cable connection, this actually hooks up to the old school TVs with a screw. The Nintendo also has the ability to have AV, which if you look on the side here, there's actually red and yellow, so you can actually have AV out too, but it doesn't come with that. But in case you do want to play with that, that does have that option. So this is RF cable and a nice little connection cord, so you hook up your cable TV as well, so you can have your TV and Nintendo hooked up at the same time. Your 2 NES controllers, probably one of my favorite controller designs of all time. Very simple. You got the D-pad, select start, the BA. Understanding that the reason it's BA, not AB, is because Japanese read right to left, not left to right, like we do in the Europe and Australia and North America, all the good stuff, Western countries. Here is Rob the Robot himself. Pretty heavy. I'll go more over detail about what he looks like here later on in the video in part 2. These are little things on his arm so you can grab onto the gyromites, the toppers. I'll show you how that works in a second. Here's the second controller, of course. Here is kind of a protection manual and stuff. I go over that in a second. Here is the top spinner, the Gyromite spinner, which actually runs off a 1D battery itself. These are what the Gyromites look like, the toppers. These actually spin really quick, and this actually still has the protection covers over it as well, the papers over it, and this says, caution, do not touch while operating. Misuse in spinning gyro can cause physical injury. Consult Gyromite instruction manual. They put that in for lawsuit purposes. These are the things that actually hook up to Rob himself and the stands. And this is where the gyros or gyromites, these are actually where they actually place. And let's see what's in this right here. So first off, you have a nice poster. A lot of these classic Nintendo products came with some great posters. And this is certainly no exception to the rule here. Pretty awesome poster with some first early release games for the NES. golf and duck hunt and baseball and tennis and Cuckoo Land, Wild Gunman, all that good stuff. Here's the manual itself. You got the Nintendo Seal quality product seal right there. This actually, please note, this actually looks like this covers his highs. Bonus Nintendo Club free. This is before Nintendo Power, so you can join the Nintendo Club. And just explains how to hook it up to the TV and operate Rob the Robot. Well guys, that concludes my part 1 over Rob the Robot. In part 2, I'm going to show you how Rob actually operates with the TV, the system, and the game as well. Also show you how the gameplay actually works. Put a link to that video below. I appreciate you guys watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think of Rob the Robot. Do you actually own Rob the Robot or not? You can follow me also on Twitter and Facebook. Also put links below. We'll see you guys soon. Happy gaming. Take care.